There. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. Hello, everybody. My name is Jillian Mariscal. I am the owner of Sabrosa Vegana, but I am an organizer as well with Black Veg Fest. Black Veg Fest is here to educate the community and uplift, and we are here today teaching fried oyster mushroom, one of my favorite recipes. Um, Also, before I start, just wanted to make a small announcement. August 8th, we're having a rally. August 8th. So save the date. Um, Put it on your calendars. Sign up to blackvegfest.org for August 8th rally. We're going to be giving away a lot of free food that Follow Your Heart has donated. Hodo Brands, Tofurky, Beyond Meat donated. So come enjoy and have a good time with us on August 8th. Sign up at blackvegfest.com for the emails to see where the location will be in Brooklyn. Okay. Um, so let's start. Thank you for joining me. Fried oyster mushrooms. Yes, we're doing it today. So I have the oil on, ready to heat. So this is going to take a little while to heat up as we're prepping the mushrooms. Okay, I'm going to show you real quickly. I'm going to come up and show you the oyster mushrooms real fast because my camera is far a little bit from me. I'm going to tilt it down slightly like that. So yes, look at these bad boys. Ooh, look at that. Like to this for vegans is like food porn right here. Well, especially after it's fried. So these are fried oyster mushrooms. Believe it or not, I got these for only $3. This was like two and change. I swear to everything. Like this, I go to this Korean grocer in Brooklyn and I find them really cheap. So you see the fried oyster mushrooms? Look at that. So I'm gonna show you, I rinsed them out. So you see they're wet, they're clean, they're in my strainer here. They're usually grown. Yeah, they're gorgeous, right? I happened to get some that weren't like totally destroyed in the packaging. So these are the fried oyster mushrooms. I rinsed them out and I'm going to show you how I divide them now when I cut them. Okay? So let's start. All right. There's a lot of variety of ways to do fried oyster mushrooms. And for me, um I like to add seaweed in mine because I like it to have like an oyster, like a fried oyster effect, or should I say like a fried, like a seafood type of fried food. So I'm gonna put what I like to put specifically for mine. You can leave things out, but that's up to you. I'm gonna just fix this camera real fast. Um, Thank you. Yeah, they're really pretty, right? I got them on Myrtle Avenue. I don't know if anyone lives in Brooklyn. I got them on Myrtle Avenue at a grocery store, a Korean grocer that they were only like $3 in the little thing. So these are the today's oyster mushrooms. All right. So you can buy them now anywhere, any supermarket. A lot of supermarkets have them. I specifically use oyster mushrooms because they have the flavor that I like. Remember, mushrooms are not all made the same. They have different flavor, different texture. I like that the crispy on the outside and the soft on the inside when you bite into it, and it's my favorite. So while the oil is heating up, we want it hot enough that when we put it in there, it's gonna fry up, okay? We also have our dry rack ready. So when we have the oysters there frying, afterwards we're gonna let the oil go through so it stays crispy. Okay, I'll go over the ingredients. We're gonna have chopped garlic in the ingredients. You can chop it up yourself. This is the lazy garlic. Look, I'm running out. Okay, this is the lazy version of chopped garlic. Okay, but you want to chop it up for this recipe. Okay. Then we have, believe it or not, I'm putting just egg in mine. You don't have to put it in yours, but I find that it really gives it a nice crunchiness when I dip it in this egg as well. And I love the flavor. So I have just egg in mine. We have ingredients here. If you're writing this down, I don't know if anyone's writing this down, but if you're writing this down, so these are the main ingredients. Then we have flour, okay? Yeah, they are work. But actually, it for like out of all the cooking demos that I've done, This seems like the least ingredients, but it does take to, prep and make sure that they come out really good. So it is work. Then we have flour, okay? We're gonna put cumin, black pepper. I like to put this Trader Joe's. Have you seen this Trader Joe's vegan chicken list? I like to put a little of that in there. That's just because I have it you don't have to. Salt. Okay, we're gonna put salt, and we're gonna get some garlic powder. So garlic powder and garlic fresh have different flavor profiling still. So I like to put a little both. We're also gonna put some paprika and cayenne pepper. I have it in this little carousel. So we're gonna put garlic salt, garlic powder, black powder, ground black pepper, salt, cumin, crushed fresh garlic, and paprika. If any other spices you want to put, chili powder, and just egg and flour, and the oyster. Okay, all this too. I'm gonna put on the in a recipe and post it later, but just in case you're writing it down. So those are the ingredients. Now, I didn't bring my mixing bowl down because I don't know why I didn't do that, but we'll use this one for now. Okay? So, I'm going to show you how we're going to cut the oyster mushrooms first. Okay? They come together like this. And I don't know if you could see from here. I'm going to try to move it in. I'm going to move it in a little closer. Let's see if you can see my cutting. I don't mind if I cut my head off in the picture, but we want to see more of the food, okay? No one wants to see my big head. Okay, good. So I'll have to go like this, but we'll do it like this. All right? So I'm going to put the ingredients to the side for a second and show you how I'm going to cut this. So I like them cut like I like to have two of them together sometimes because it gives it a real nice softness in between, because sometimes they're so thin that if you put too much crust and then you bite it, you don't feel like you're eating anything, right? Inside, it just feels like you're eating pure crust. So I try to cut the middle part just to make it smaller. And if I see two paired together, I'm taking it from the top and just leaving those two like this. Okay, so this is going to be one piece. This has about 3 pieces. Actually, it has 4 pieces here. So I'm going to just take it right in the middle off the top and leave these connected like that. Okay? So this is sort of connected. This is the pieces I'm going to be using to marinate like that. Okay? I usually leave 2 together. That's my point. Because again, like I said, if you do one individually, one leaf, so to speak, I don't know how the fungus term, individually, I find that with the crust, it has flavor, but I like to have it where you can really taste the inside. You know what I'm saying? Actually, if I sit, could you see me better and the actual food? Maybe like this. Okay. So, again, this is a cluster. I'm taking it at the top and separating 2 at a time where they're stuck together. So this is a pretty big cluster. Well, it has little stuff there, but it's pretty big, but I like it like that there. Like that. So then when I bite into it, there's stuff to actually, like, you can taste the 2 textures, the crunchy on the outside and the soft on the inside, okay? So don't over pull it. Also, when we're marinating it, if you over pull it and it's just one leaf, they can get destroyed pretty easily in the process of marinating it. And then, like, when you're putting it in the batter, and then you're frying it, you don't have anything in the inside, okay? So, again, a cluster, we're taking the top, and we're making it where there's 2, okay? If this was a cluster of 4, now you have 2. So this is one piece, 2 together. This is one piece, 2 together, okay? That's how we're doing it. All right, so let's see example this one. This is 4 pieces here, okay? You can see in the back, there's 4. I'm going to take it on the top, and there you go. This is now 1 piece with 2 and 1 piece with 2, okay? And this is how we're going to marinate it and put in the batter and then fry it, okay? So now I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's start with those 8. This is still getting kind of hot. Come on, oil. Now, anytime you fry something, the oil temperature is so essential. You want the oil to be hot enough where it right away crisps it and it doesn't soak in too much. If the oil is not hot enough, what happens is you're allowing the oil to just soak in and wet the food, and it doesn't create that crust right away, which protects it from the oil penetrating deeper. The oil is just supposed to cook it, right? Not to actually soak in oil. All right. So when you see people that have the oil, like oily food, and you could squeeze out the oil in it, it's because the oil wasn't hot enough or at the correct temperature when you put to fry it. Okay. So moving along, we got the oil. Now we separated these. So you see how we separated them, right? I have a big cluster here, but we're not going to do all of these. But just to give you an example. Now, if you do have a big, gigantic one like that, and you want to like do this one by itself, that's fine. That's huge. I mean, if you could see how big it is, it's pretty big, okay? But if you have smaller, medium ones, you want to clump 2 at a time together, okay? So this one would be like one like that. All right, now let's marinate these bad boys. Now, I didn't bring, let's see if I have a bowl here. Let's see, do I have a bowl? I can use this as a mixing bowl. All right. We make do with what we have. I'm going to use this as a mixing bowl right now. So we're going to put our oyster mushrooms in there. Okay? Nice and gentle. We're not pureeing them. It's just a bowl. All right? So we're putting them in here to hold. Now we're going to go into our second ingredient that we're going to use for it, which is seaweed. I like to put seaweed in mine. Okay? Now, let me adjust this camera real quick again. I feel like it's crooked. There you go. All right, cool. All right, so I put seaweed in mine. I'm going to open this up. This has a teriyaki flavor. I just had a box of these. So get whatever flavor you want. I would just stick to the regular flavoring. Don't get the one, and I usually get the big sushi, the papers. This is just what I had on deck. And I had so many, I was like, I'm just gonna use these up instead of buying some just for this show. So I have these in the house. So seaweed, what we're gonna do is it's gonna go in our marinade. It's gonna be inside the marinade here. We're gonna chop it up real finely right now. And you'll see the pieces of it when you're frying it. It's so cool afterwards. I love it. I love the flavor that it brings. It really makes it taste more seafoody. So I just clumped it together, and you see I just put it in really thin strips. And I did the thin strips like this because all they're going to do is melt away and wrap around the oyster mushrooms. Okay, so you wanted thin strips like that. All I did was basically clump it together and strip it. Okay, and now we're gonna add it like that, like this, like so, right? Okay, just like that. There we go. All right, so now we have the let me take. It has like a teriyaki flavor to it, but I don't think it's gonna change the whole flavor. My other one I had was plain, but I have a whole box of teriyaki, and I was like, let me just use this up. But it should work. It's still salty. It still tastes like seaweed, and that's what we want. Okay? I'm gonna strip these up more here. Okay. Now, don't worry about drying your mushrooms. I rinsed them out. I wet them, obviously, to rinse them out. And then I separated and put it in here. I didn't pat them dry. Why? Because I want the other marinated ingredients, the spices and seasonings that we're going to do to stick to the mushroom. Okay? Everything is a process to make it stick to the mushroom. So we have the seaweed and the mushroom. Now we're going to put our garlic. Okay? I like to put a good heaping teaspoon. I'll put the ingredients in there. I'll tell you on the recipe more specific. Okay, there we go. And now I'm gonna put cumin. I know cumin sounds crazy as but you know they use cumin to season like shrimp, and I think it's an Old Bay. I'm not sure, but I love having a little cumin in this recipe. So I put cumin. I put black pepper. Everything's going in the mixing bowl. Okay. We're gonna put garlic powder too, just a little, because we already put tons of garlic in there. We're going to put salt. I don't know if you could see it in there. We're going to put salt. Just don't go too crazy with the salt, because you could also salt it afterwards too, but just a little bit. I'm not going to mix it yet because I want to wait till I have all the ingredients in there and then mix it. It's you don't want the oyster to fall apart. They're very delicate. Okay, so you see me like putting it in there and not mixing it as I go. I'm gonna mix it afterwards, and that's why just make sure you have a good bowl to like really try to distribute the seasonings without having to over mix it and toss it, because it will destroy the pears and things that we cut up for the oyster mushrooms. Okay, so I'm gonna put the vegan chicken list. Okay, come on, come out. Okay, and I'm going to put now the spices, which is the paprika and the cayenne. Now, some people also spice up the flour that they're putting the batter in. You can do that. You can put some paprika in the batter, in the flour. I mean, that's okay too. So, like taking the flour that we're going to put the dipping in and putting it in here like that, it is all good to do that too. Like, the more seasonings, the better. It's just gonna taste so good. Just throwing some seasonings in this bad boy. This thing likes to get stuck on me, so I have to like, okay. Don't be like me. Have like a bigger seasoning for this there. All right. All right. There we go. So season a little bit of the batter as well. You could put salt and pepper in there, but just try not to overdo it. Okay. So sorry. Now I'm going to delicately turn it. Delicately. Okay. I'm going to allow the seasonings to distribute very evenly here. I feel like I want to put more seaweed. Yeah, I feel like I want to put more seaweed. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna put a little bit more seaweed. So far, I put 1 pack. So maybe I put a second pack because I really love the seaweed flavor when it wraps around it. Okay. All these seasonings are I'm gonna put. Okay. Now remember, it's okay if it's a little wet. You want it a little wet the first round here just to get the seaweed getting stuck onto it. It smells so good. It smells amazing. It already smells amazing. Okay. All right. So now that we have that going, we're going to put our just egg, shake it up. Okay, and I think that's actually almost about ready, the oil, which is great. Sorry that you only see half of me, but I'd rather you see me cooking. All right, so I have going to open this. My hands are too sticky to peel it. And I'm going to pour it in one of our batters. All right, that's a lot, but it's good enough for how much we have, okay? So I'm going to clean this up a little bit here so you can see better. We have our just eggs. We have our flour that we put some seasoning in. We can also season the just egg. Why not? Shit. Season everything. Season. Garlic salt. Excuse me. Pepper. All this pepper and stuff. Okay? And even mix it up into the just egg. Okay? Yummy. Yes. So this is just egg, and we put all our seasonings in the just egg as well. So our flour seasoned, our oysters are seasoned, and the egg is seasoned. Okay? Season it all up. You can't go wrong. Just don't over salt it, but season it at least with the spices. Salt you can use last, but there's other seasonings we use. Garlic, we use the cayenne, the paprika, the black pepper. You can use I use the chickenless. Okay, the chickenless. So season it up. All right, there we go. Now I'm gonna throw this out right here and organize this here so we can start frying. I think that oil is just about ready. How do we tell? Just gonna throw something in there, and it rises up. Perfect. That's ready oil right there. Okay, that is ready, which is good. All right. I love that I'm cooking during lunchtime all the time because I get to eat what I serve for you guys. This time I'll take a bite out of it for sure, so you can see how good it looks on the inside. All right, so I'm gonna clean this little hot mess up. I always make a mess with cooking. That I confess. I always make a hot mess. All right, and I don't need this here right now, so I'm going to do some shifting. All right, we're ready to start frying. I'm gonna move this a little bit up. Okay, so we have our egg, our flour, and our mushrooms. Okay, everyone with me now? Everyone see? All right, so I'm gonna move it slightly over so you could see. Okay. All right, so you can see all of that. There we go. Now you can see everything. All right. This is when I need an assistant. Perfect. Okay. We are with me? So we have our marinated oyster mushrooms. What do we put in it? Cumin. We put garlic. We put fresh garlic, garlic powder, salt, pepper, seaweed strips. And we strip them up because as they get wet in the process of dipping them into the just egg, we want it to wrap around the oyster. And as we're doing the batter, it's going to just be like crispy all together. So good. So let's do this, okay? We have our marinade here. We have the egg marinated as well in spices. And we have the flour. Now, I like to take a little bit of the flour and just put it in the marinade, in the oyster mushroom, just to get things going where it starts sticking. See, look, it's frying already. That's perfect. The oil is hot. That's what we want it to be hot where it fries fast. Not fast, but not, you don't want to overburn them, but you want it to fry appropriately. Okay? So we put a little flour, I'm going to show you how it looks. Okay? So it gets a little bit tacky before we start the process. Okay? All right. Remember, use your hands as much as possible too when you're doing this process because you don't want the oysters to to fall apart. Okay, so it's getting tacky in there a little bit, and that's as much as we want. We just want the flour enough where if we take one here, we take one where you see it's starting to stick already to it. It's tacky. Okay, let me show you better. Okay, That's just the first process, okay? We're just putting a little flour in this bowl, okay? Now what we're gonna do is make sure we take one here with all this stuff on it. We're gonna dip it in the egg real one time and on the flour, okay? Did you see that? Take the flour and put it on the top. Shake it off, okay? Just like that. The egg is gonna be drippy, but that's why we're like egg and put it on the flour, just like that, and then take the flour and put some on the top so it covers it. Shake that off, shake excess off, and we're frying. This is nice and high. I wish it was deeper the water, but I want you to be able to see the process. Okay, now we're gonna take another one here. See, it already came apart a little bit, but it's all good. This one has all the seaweed stuck to it, which is great. We're gonna dip it one time, put it in the flour, pour the flour on top. Okay, then we take the flour, we're putting it on top because we don't want to go like this inside the flour because then it's just gonna take everything apart. Okay, we're trying to do this delicately. All right, now we put the flour there and we shake off just the excess, making sure everything stays on. Okay, let's do two at a time because you have to keep an eye on these. You don't want them to over fry, and you want to make sure you're doing it like slowly and calmly because the more you shake things, things will fall off. See, it's already falling off into the seaweed. So we want it to stay. We could even pour a little bit of this in here so it stays. How about that? Just a little bit of there, yeah, so it's wet. Okay? So I poured a little bit of there, so it's nice and wet there. See that? We want all this goodness to stay in the oyster. Smells so good. It's looking so good. All right. All right. And my hands are so dirty. It's okay. This is a very dirty type of food, like messy food that we make. Okay, I'm gonna flip this one over. Looks so good already. That crust looks amazing. All right. So we have the oyster, right? With our batter, right? You want to put another ring through there, that's fine, but then put it right into the flour. Okay? Let it sit in the flour if you want for a second. You're gonna shake off the excess flour, but we're not re-dipping and going back and forth. Okay? As long as you see some pieces of the seaweed sticking um to the oyster. But that's what we're trying to do is make sure the ingredients are sticking and staying, so we're not, going crazy with them um by shaking it up and stuff. Okay. So make sure this is fine. It's looking so good. Okay. Ooh, I could even add more seaweed because you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with it. Let's make sure. I just make sure that there's stuff on it before I dip it. Like as I'm putting it in the cluster, right? Gotta be really gentle with these. It's a cluster. There's seaweed on there. I could even just pour some of this on there and then leave it right in the flour. Take it off right inside. I put the flour on top so I'm not like moving it too much. Okay. See, I put the flour. I dipped it put the flour in there and I left it there. And then I put the flour on top from the side and then just lift it up gently and shake it up. Okay? Because if I go like this and too much twirling it around, it falls apart. These are really delicate, so good. Let me wipe my hands a little bit here. That one looks about done. And I recommend investing in a dry rack because they really do help with the frying process. It just helps the oil not sit there. So this is done. Let's shake it off slightly and then let's leave it on the dry rack. Looks so good already. Let's check up on this one. Do I have to flip it? Yes. Because I'm not using a deep fryer because I wanted you to see the process. I am forced to be careful and try to turn it when I can here. So once you see a little brown, you could take them off. You don't want it to overcook as well. You want the inside to stay just, whole enough where you bite into it and you still see the piece of the oyster in there and you taste that softness with the crunch. Just like if you eat like fried shrimp or something where it's soft on the inside and crunchy on the outside, we want that effect. Yes, I love mushrooms. I didn't like them as a kid, but I love them as an adult. This, we're just making sure it's frying. I think that one's pretty good. We don't want to over fry them and they get chewy too. The edges. There you go. I'm going to show you more. Okay, so I put it on the dry rack here, okay? That looks amazing. Let's go for this one. See, this one was sitting in the flour. You shake off the flour, excess flour, okay? Goes right in our basket. Find the hottest part of the. All right, one more time here. So we have this. We're picking up one. If you don't see when you're picking up one that has a lot of like seaweed or something, just put the seaweed on it. It's like all in there. Okay? That I like to there's like a lot of big pieces in here, so I just take the seaweed, wrap it. If you don't see it, you want to see it. Okay? One time in the egg, and then leave it right there. Okay? You see it like that? And I'm taking it and just putting it on top so that it stays one. Okay, then just let it sit for a second. My hands are filthy. I can't even like go like this. Okay, this is looking so good. Yeah, I definitely didn't eat them as a kid. My son, he's like, not yet. I'm not ready for those yet. But people that I usually give this that are vegan really like this recipe. So this is a really good also like, oh, try these, just try it. If people like seafood or if they're used to those type of textures or flavors, they would like this. So this is a really good fun dish to make. All right, so this is frying up. I gotta keep turning it because I want to make sure that it cooks evenly on both sides. Okay. I think I can fit this one in here. So now I lift it up. See, I'm seeing pieces falling out here. There we go. Okay. Then we're just gonna put it right in there. Like this side is hotter. Put this over. Okay. Got some good ones cooking. So I'm gonna show you meanwhile. I'm gonna wipe my hands real quick here and show you how it looks already fried. Yes, your favorite vegan restaurant makes them. I loved it. Yeah. There's a really good, they make tacos out of it. Look at this. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. It's hot, but I'm burning my hand for you guys. Look at that. How good does that look? You see the pieces of the seaweed in there, okay? Wrapped around it. My hand is burning, but it's worth it. You see it? Okay? Y'all see it, right? Okay, good. I'm so tempted to just pop this one in my mouth, but I need to have a few so we can take a final picture of this. Okay. All right, so these are pretty fried. Remember, you don't want to overfry them either, okay? Don't want to overfry them as well. You want to get that crust crispy, but as well, you don't want to overfry them. So I'm taking this one out. Thank you. It is very yummy. All right, putting this to dry on the dry rack. We're going to flip this one over and make sure this is cooking. All right, now we're going to take more. So we have another one here that looks pretty big. Make sure it has some seasoning on it. Okay. I'm going to take it, dip it in the egg, and leave it right there. Okay. And then put top, pat it one time. Okay, now you have it. Take it. Okay. Right. Make sure this is flipping. Ooh, make a mess, Jill. I'm just making a hot mess. I'm making a really big mess here. But it looks so good. Okay. So, uh, just going over the process again in case anybody's forgetting. We put in here the garlic and all the seasonings. We put the seaweed. We put a lot of seaweed so that it can wrap around the oyster mushrooms, give it that extra little seafood kick that people like when they eat seafood. Um, we also season the just egg batter. We put a little of the batter in the marinade bowl with a little flour to start so they can start sticking to each other and become tacky. The tackier the better, and that's why we're using the just egg. I guess you can skip that one if you don't find just egg in your area and just put maybe a little water with the flour and make it like a water, like a thick batter, a thicker batter, not too thick. Just you always start small, but you want it to be tacky so that when I just like the flavored egg too. This you can find at Food Bazaar. I found the just egg for $5 at Food Bazaar. So if you live in Brooklyn, just egg is available. Okay, it's not that hard to find anymore like it used to be. All right, so this bad boy's done. Yes, it looks so good. Okay. You don't want to overcook it, but at the same time, you want that crust to cook. So we're putting it on our dry rack. Make sure this one cooks. I feel like the oil should be hotter. Like I'm kind of like this oil should be hotter. I was over there preaching about the oil should be hot enough, but that's what happens when you're cooking with a little sternum. But you know, if you're cooking on an actual stove, your oil will be hotter. So yeah, you can use, I use just egg because I like the actual egg flavor that it gives and it has a thickness to it that I feel is a good binder. Um, Other egg replacers that are powdery are used for baking, I wouldn't suggest as a replacer because they get watery. As you can see, it's thick. As I'm turning it, you can see how thick it is. I would just add a little water to the batter or to this. I would just add a little water to this with flour and it'll start sticking to it. if you don't want to use the just egg. I've done that before too. I just happened to have just egg in the house one day, and I was like, oh shoot, I could actually make this with the just egg today, and it came out so good with it. Okay, so let's put another one. For this cooks. Okay, let's get another one out. Oh, this one looks good. This one looks like I could just put, I don't even need to dip it in the just egg. I could just put it right here. Dip it in here. Okay, and that's it. Just like that. So it went from, I put a little bit of the egg in this here. So you see how tacky, it's like really stuck together. Stuff is tacky. It makes it pretty messy, but you want it to be like that. And then you just put it in the flour one time. That's it. Or it coats it. It just wanted to coat it one time. You know, I'm not double dipping in anything. Okay, I'm not going back and forth. Okay, because that also destroys the. I want it to cook evenly. Sorry, I'm like trying to talk and attend to these fries. Because frying is like you have to really keep an eye on frying stuff. You don't want to uh, keep your eye on it because it will over fry or not fry correctly. They're looking good so far though. Look at this one. It looks so good, right? Ooh, it's hot. Very hot. I like to eat these plain. One time I was like, I was making it as a side with like rice and beans, and I found out these were just so filling. They're filling. If you eat like a whole pack, it was $2.89 for a pack of oyster mushrooms, and it filled me up if I eat that whole pack. I still didn't even make the whole pack. There's still fresh ones here. We only did half of that, and I know that with these that I have here, that's a great snack on its own. If you eat the whole thing, it would be a meal. So um, this is really good, affordable food. You don't have to pay so much to make it. Okay. Okay, I want this oil to be hotter, but it's still crisping it up. I don't want to put this one in yet because it's not hot enough. It is crispy. I just want it to be hot. This is like the highest setting. Okay. Thank you for sticking with me. We're almost done. We're almost done. All right. This one is done here. I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna let this one cook a little more because that was a big one, and I want to see it brown on the top. And I'm gonna put this one that we had sitting in the thing right in there. You see, I want it to be like the minute I put it in there, like, but it's getting low on me. But I can't help technical difficulties with this little bad boy. So we're gonna do what we got, but it's still crisping up. Okay, see, it's getting crispy there. All right, get hot, pan. Get hot. You were hotter than this. Come on, you could do it, little pan. You can get hot. I give you permission to be hot. All right. So I like this actually. I like pouring the egg in here better. I'll tell you the truth. I like it better because I can grab these pieces and they already have like all the wetness to it from putting the egg in there, and then I could just put it in. Oh, shit, look. I can just put it inside the flour like that, and just add the flour, and it won't be like this too wet, because it's already been having time here to get tacky. So I like that idea. So I'm gonna put that in the recipe. Put a little bit egg batter in here with the flour, so everything starts getting tacky already. And when you're putting it in the flour, all you're doing is just laying it on the flour, taking the flour, putting it on top, shaking it off. Okay? Now it wants to be hot. Didn't feel like being hot today. Okay, nice. Getting some crispiness here. Okay, I think I'm gonna finish this last one here and plate it and eat it for you and show you the last result. Uh, the egg is vegan. The egg is vegan. This is just egg. It looks real, right? It looks real. This egg. The egg is vegan. I'll show you right now. Okay, it's made from beans, from mung beans. The plant-based scramble. Okay, I got this for 5 and change, like 5.99, 5.89 at Food Bazaar. Okay, we put seasoning in this, we put seasoning in the flour, we put seasoning in the oyster, and we put the seaweed, the cumin, the garlic. You can even add ginger if you like. Like you can go crazy with the seasonings. This is just the base, how you can see it work. I put the just egg in the bowl, and now we just put it in the flour, shake it off. Okay. There we go. That's all. That's that one. I'm gonna plate it and eat it, so I'll show you how it looks. I'm gonna try to clean this up a bit. This is a mess. Look at this hot mess I made today. You don't even I don't even know you could really fully see the hot mess in it. Look at this. But it's worth it. It's gonna be so worth it. You see the dry ones here? Look at that. It's so worth the mess. Okay, so let me clean up this mess slightly while this finishes frying the last of it. Any questions? Any more questions? I've been trying to answer questions as I go. So any more questions? Yes, the eggs are vegan. If you don't find them in your local supermarket, I know Amazon sells them online now cheap through Amazon Fresh. They're like $4. I saw them on Amazon for $4, just eggs. That's the cheapest I've seen it. Um, but I've seen it at Food Bazaar. I've seen them at supermarkets now all over New York. I live in New York. If you don't have eggs near you in your area, just put a little water in there. It's okay because the flour is going to stick to it, and you're just pouring it in the flour again. Okay, so if you don't have eggs, put in your batter a little water so it starts getting so the seaweed melts kind of and goes around and wraps around the oyster mushroom and lightly with your hand just take that and turn it. Okay. Yeah, it was just regular seaweed. Actually, I had this in the house. It's teriyaki flavor, but it's not a strong one. So it is kind of, but it's not gonna mess. It's not gonna like be overpowering. So any type of seaweed that you have that is like sheets, okay? And I just took the sheets and I thinned it. I stripped it. I didn't put it in littler pieces. I put it in strips so it wraps around it, okay? So I have this seaweed here. Sorry, upside down. But it's all right. As I clean this hot mess, okay, I'm gonna turn this over real quick though. Okay, this is looking good. This is actually fried. This is getting there. This is getting there. The last two in there. I'm gonna take a nice picture, okay, or show you up close, and I'm gonna bite into it so you can see how real good it tastes. This mess. Yes, this is a messy dish, okay, but it's worth it. It's simple ingredients. It's just like the egg, flour, and seasonings, and the oyster mushroom. It's not like you got to chop up onions. You don't have to chop up anything. But it is pretty messy. Okay, just make it even more of a mess. Any other questions? Any more questions? What are you guys gonna add your oyster mushrooms to? Are you gonna eat it plain, or are you gonna like put it in a salad or a taco? Ooh, put it in a taco. Those are good because the crispiness in it just be so good. All right. So I'm gonna start plating. Okay. Have some nice crispy ones here. Ooh, that one's hot still. And they look like oysters. They look like fried oysters, you know? So I have that there like that. I'm gonna put actually this bad boy that I didn't use like this on this side. Okay. All right. Finish frying. Can you finish frying? I want to eat you. All right. This last one is just frying up. Like you'll know it's done frying. You're not gonna see like a dark crisp on it. It'll get crispy. Like it'll get change color when it just sits on the dry rack. But you want it where um where the flour is just enough cooked because it's gonna cook the inside of the mushroom. You just want it slightly brown. You don't want it over brown enough, okay? Because then it will make the mushroom inside like over. Yeah, these were so good on a taco, and then you put like a nice red pepper sauce that you can make. So good. Next time I try to make that one. All right, let's put this here. I'm gonna put this last fried one. Oh my gosh, it's hot. There. I really did make a mess. I make such a mess when I cook afterwards. I'm like, oh, it's so messy. But yes, um, not too. Yeah, it's not too hard to make. This was really simple. It's just knowing that the ingredients that you like to go with it. I like those ingredients that I put. The cumin is a strong flavor in this because you're mixing it with other things. Um, and I like the seaweed because it's not overly overpowering too. You taste all the things that you're wanting to taste on here. Nothing is overpowering. Um, this last one just needs to fry. It's getting there. It's like the pan is hot and then it gets lower. We'll get better pans by better heater for next week. All right. Come on, last one. You could do it. You could do it. You could try. All right. Now, put this here. Dry rack. All right. I think that's good. That's good. Okay, just like that. Um, I'm looking at questions. I just jumped on, but what kind of oil is best and how to use it? So peanut oil is good. It's a good frying oil. Uh, I buy it at a restaurant because I have a food business. I buy in bulk my peanut oils, but use a high heat oil, like oil that can stand high heat without really damaging. So try like I use peanut or sunflower oil too. So this also possible in an air fryer? Maybe. I'm not sure. The process where you can like dust off the flour at that part and then just let it sit on the air fryer might work. Not sure if it'll crisp the same. Okay, you can try that. Let me know. I was gonna buy an air fryer a while back, and I just figured it sounded just like an oven, or just like a really high oven. But it might be good for frying faster, like already pre-fried foods. So I'm not sure if fresh frying foods would work. Okay, but try it. Let me know. So we do have our final product here. I'm going to put that last one that was cooking. It is perfect right on there. And I'm going to come up closer so you can see the goodness. Oh my gosh. My favorite part. So we have the fresh oyster mushroom there and the fried one. Oh man. Look at that. We did it. We did it. Look at that. I'm going to eat this one. Mm. Oh my gosh. It tastes so good. Mm. Look at that. Hold on. Hold on. You see it inside? You see it? I'm waiting for the camera to clear up. It is so good. Oh my goodness. Hold on. You know I'm about to tear this up when this camera goes off. Okay. Look at that. Don't mind my dirty hands. We just cooked, okay? Don't judge. No. But look at that. Yum. It's crunchy. You hear that? Mmm. It's so good because I didn't use a sauce. I didn't use a sauce because I put so much seasoning on this, and it's so well seasoned. I mean, you could do the blue cheese sauce. You could do. I like the roasted red pepper sauce that I make with fresh roasted red pepper. You put it in a blender with a little mayo, and so good. Roasted red pepper. When spices, oh sriracha, you put a little sriracha or chili sauce in there, and it's like a nice sauce for that. But these are so flavorful. You don't really need. So you could just keep popping these in your mouth like I'm about to do. So you see it? Don't mind the floury hands. We just made these. Hot, hot. Oh, it's hot. Don't eat it hot. But eat it. Mm. Mm. I'm gonna cut this up though. It's so good. Mm. I'm gonna chop it up so you can see how it looks inside. So good. Okay. So this is how it looks inside. You see it? Look. It's so good. Okay. The flavors, the flavors from everything. You taste that seaweed slightly. Like I said, it's not overpowering. It's not gonna taste like straight up seaweed. Okay. But it tastes really amazing. Okay. You see how? Oh, that's a good shot. See, so we cooked it enough where it crisped on the outside, right? And the inside was soft. And you get that texture. You want that two textures, right? And we put enough seasoning in the batter. We put enough seasoning in the just egg and the seasoning from the seaweed. It was so good. Nadia, I see you watching. You're gonna try these. These are so good. Look. So we have the fresh ones here and the fried ones here. Look at that. So yummy. Just perfectly fried, not over battered. You get a good, like I didn't over dip it. Remember, don't keep double dipping into the batter, back into the flour, back into the batter, back into the flour. You're gonna get more layers of batter, but you want just enough batter, just enough of oyster mushroom because they're thin, right? Remember, we did double some of them, but if they're not doubled, they're thin. So if you put too much batter and then you don't taste anything. Okay? I'm not saving you nothing, Nale. You gotta come over here. Lucy said, "Save me some." Come over here. I'm going after this to the city. I'm gonna barbecue, and I'm bringing just sausages. I mean, beyond sausages over there. Look at that. It looks so good. I'll save these, Nadia, for you when you come to this week. We'll make these together, okay? I didn't make these, so this will be your batch because I'm about to eat all these right now. She said, "Save me some." I only have 4 pieces. Look at this. I'm gonna eat this all. It's so good. Mm, so good. And see the tip here of the stem? It's not over battered. At the same time, you want it to cook more because it's thicker. And when you bite into it, it's so good. It's amazing. One more time, I'll show you this. Look at that. Nice up close. See the back? See the side?